Tech News Weekly is sponsored by Zone Delivery USA. Fresh, healthy meals delivered to your door. For more information, go to zonedeliveryusa.com. Hover.com. Go to gfq.hover.com and get 10% off your entire purchase. And by audible.com. Get a free audiobook by going to audiblepodcast.com/GFQ.
Starting Tech News Weekly in 3, 2, 1.
Another Friday is here, and another Tech News Weekly on the GFQ Network. I'm Andrew Zarian, joined by Suncast. How you doing,
Hey,
Suncast?
how's it going?
And only Suncast.
Yeah, only me today.
Only
you.
you.
To deal with it.
Tom has headed for the hills.
Yeah.
He's getting ready for 2012. He saw the movie with John Cusack, and now he's a believer.
He's got to get his bunker ready.
He's getting his bunker ready and getting a supply of horse jerky as we speak. He's getting ready for the end of the world. Canned beans, horse jerky. You could do like the canned fruit, right, to prevent the scurvy.
Yeah, I guess.
You could do the canned fruit, so he won't be joining us
anymore.
Well, you will when the end of the world happens and there's no more vitamin C. You got to think about these things, Suncast. God, always one step behind.
You're the one that's a germaphobe.
I am. I would die. Yeah, can I tell you about being a germaphobe?
Your whole bunker will be just nothing but antibacterial
soap and plastic everything. We had an issue today in the house. I was on the phone with Suncast. We're getting ready for the show. We're going over some stuff. And all of a sudden I hear, Andrew, come quick. And I say, that's not good. Nobody ever screams for me to leave the office when I'm in the meeting. And I see that my entire ceiling is collapsed in the room that will become the new studio.
The sky is falling.
It was literally, it collapsed because it was saturated with water because we had a leak upstairs in the bathroom. And it pretty much covered half the ceiling up with water, and it finally fell. And that's what we had to deal with this morning. But I was thinking, what a good thing that I didn't move the studio in there, because my goal was to be in there April 1st. And I held off on it. And I held off, and I said, you know what, there are other priorities. Let me go to these other things before we go into a new room. But I should have been in there.
Like a new kitchen.
Like a new kitchen, yeah, new kitchen. Listen, I justified it by saying, well, I'll spend this much money, but I'll save on the electric because everything is energy efficient now.
Mm-hmm. We all know this is all for Chess.
It was, you know what it was?
She said, to please her, because we all know the crap that she puts up.
I know. That's what it was. She's turned around and said, listen, I've dealt with so much. I have to get this new kitchen. I said, fine, get the new kitchen. But it's crazy because I should have been in there this week. This would have been the first week I was in that new room.
Yeah.
And could you have imagined the damage that would have been done? My entire studio would have been ruined. All the equipment would have been ruined because it was all water.
Wow.
I mean, insurance, I guess, would have covered it. But, imagine having to go through that.
No, that wouldn't be fun at all.
No, so we were very lucky in the sense that we hadn't moved in there, and I'm a total procrastinator, and I chose not to go in there. So for once, it worked out for me. It did. Big news this week, the Epsilon data breach.
Yeah, that's something that a lot of people seem to be affected by because it targeted so many companies.
I was hoping
Tom... Did you want to explain it, or...?
You could explain it. I was hoping Tom would be here for this. I know he really wants to talk about it, but we do have to go into it, and he does know a little something about it. He is the security expert on the network. But pretty much, data was pretty much breached by, and again, social engineering. Tom, that's his buzzword. Somebody sent out an email, and it involved I believe it was an Excel spreadsheet, right?
Yeah, what they did is some hackers got a hold of email addresses for employees at
Which not difficult.
Email marketing company called Epsilon or something like that.
Epsilon. I heard both, but I think you are right. I think it's Epsilon.
I don't know either, but basically they sent an email out to these customers phishing to see if they would mistakenly open the email thinking it was from a coworker, and they'd open this Excel spreadsheet that was infected with a Trojan, a backdoor that would allow these hackers to gain some level of access into their network, and then further on down the line, get more access and hacking further their way into the data that they breached.
This is fascinating. I mean, it's a very easy way to get, internal email addresses. Most companies have it posted, and if you know somebody's name, you can pretty much assume what their email address is at that company.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
if it's,
you could call
GFQ
them up,
network.
you could send them an email just saying, "Hey, this is your coworker Bob. Can you proofread this for me?"
Yeah, I mean, you could do a lot. You could. This is fascinating because majority of these security breaches are, user error. They're not. You have to click on something to get a virus or to have such a breach.
Humans aren't perfect. We're gonna make mistakes.
How do you prevent that in the long run? Because there are a ton of companies: J.P. Morgan Chase, U.S. Bank, TiVo, Capital One, Citibank, Home Shopping Network, LL Bean, Visa. I'm just going through companies that some people might know, and there were some that people wouldn't know.
Oh,
Ritz Carlton, Marriott,
that's what
New
makes
York
this
and
so
Company.
significant is that there's a ton of big name companies like you've been rattling off that have been affected by this.
How did this affect me? For people who don't know, so let's say I have reward points with the Marriott. How would this affect me?
It basically is going to probably get you more spam email. That's the gist of it. The data that they actually did get seems to be limited to only email addresses and contact information like your name, your address, that sort of thing. It doesn't look like they got any sort of financial information, which is good, but we don't really know the scope of exactly what was breached yet. So we're hoping that it is just limited to the contact information and email addresses like they say. And what could happen is that you're just going to probably end up getting more spam. They can use these email addresses to send you spam email, and that's basically about all they can do is sign you up for stuff like that.
I'm going to be honest. I've noticed a rise in my spam from my Speakeasy email account. I used to have Speakeasy DSL, and I've always been a big fan of Speakeasy DSL. My spam count, and which I have it, and I was using it as my actual email address until I went over to Gmail, and then that became my actual. This is like kind of my my services that I sign up for. And
yeah,
I've been
ended up about 5-6 days ago. I got an email from both Best Buy and Kroger saying that there was this data breached and your email was probably compromised. If your email was compromised, you might see a rise in spam. Don't open any of these emails that look suspicious. That might be spam because it could compromise you further.
Yeah, I'm actually in my email box right now, and pretty much what I have Google Gmail aggregate all my email from other services as well. For people who don't know, you could do this. If you have, let's say, a suncast at gfqnetwork.com email address, you could access that in Gmail.
Yeah.
Much like you do in Outlook or any of those email clients.
See exactly what I do, too.
You do? Okay. I do that for plenty of my emails. I think you're limited to like 5 or 6 or whatever it is. I got an email back from Google saying, hey, listen, DHL tried to send you an email, and that email contains a virus.
Ooh.
So we denied it. If you want to accept it, you could send an email. If it was denied by mistake, please send an email to the contact. I forgot the exact message, but I got about 5 of those in 1 week.
Really? I didn't even know they did that.
And I've gotten it once or twice with my Speakeasy email address, and it would happen every now and then, and it was really rare. And I got about 5 of them to my Speakeasy email address since this breach.
Wow. Yeah.
And it was one after another.
Too, because a bunch of agencies just took down a huge spam phishing ring.
Yeah, and I'm trying to find it. Here we go. Gmail team, message left on server, DHL Express servers. The message DHL Express server global from supportmo@dhl.com contains a virus or suspicious attachment. It is therefore not fetched to our servers at speakeasy.net. If you wish to write to DHL, please hit reply, and it'll send an email to them. Thank you, the Gmail team.
Huh.
Interesting, right?
I had no idea they even did something like that.
About 4 days ago. So I'm curious to see what that file was that first of all, I wouldn't be getting anything from DHL.
Yeah.
So I definitely know it's some sort of breach, but I wonder, are they involved in this breach? Because I don't see them on the list that I have in front of me, but I assume.
Yeah, that what they're all the articles that I've read see so far that the list isn't even complete because there are so many. There's like 100 different clients that this company has, and there's a lot of big names, like you said, that are affected by this. So it's really concerning whether or not it's limited to just contact information and email information, or if it does go beyond that to your financial information. Because, like you said, there's a bunch of companies out there that do financial transactions like Best Buy and your banking Chase that you have your data with, and they could possibly have information like that. I would hope not, but it makes you wonder and a little bit concerned.
How do you prevent this from happening as a company?
As a company?
Yeah.
Well, this is an interesting case since it actually does involve social engineering in the sense that that's how they breached the network to begin with. So it seems like their network was fairly secure until somebody, human error, made a mistake and it breached their network.
Well, there are
little
little ways. I'll tell you one. Signatures on the bottom of your emails, internal emails.
Yeah, I mean, you could have an internal encryption system. That was a big thing a while back where they wanted to encrypt email, but it never really did quite catch on because it involved having a public key, a private key, and you'd have to exchange these keys with whoever you wanted to communicate with, and it was just a little bit complicated for the normal Joe to get it. And that's one way you could kind of prevent something like that to ensure that the person you are communicating with is legitimate.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a tough thing to be in. Now, what do you do if you're this company? How do you stop this from happening? I could see, you have meetings and you inform everybody how to I guess not
don't
accept
open
crap.
emails from people you don't freaking know.
Yeah, but it's extremely difficult. I mean, not everybody is able to do that. That's the problem. Not everybody could do that.
Well, then fire them.
Yeah.
I gotta wonder if the employees that actually did this. I wonder if they were fired or what happened to them, because that's a big mistake.
I don't think they'll fire them. I mean, it is a mistake, but it was not intentional.
No.
But it is a scary thing. So if you are receiving spam, this is one of the reasons why you probably are receiving the spam. And there's nothing you can really do about it, right? At this point.
No, I mean, all you can do is basically forward it to a couple email addresses that some agencies run for anti-spam countermeasures. You can forward the email to them, and they'll look into it. But who knows what they do with it? There's really nothing you can do other than have a spam blocker, antivirus, and just stay protected. Don't open emails from people you don't know.
Yeah.
If it looks suspicious, don't open it. That's the safe bet right there.
So the privacy investigation going on for apps. Do you know much about this, Suncast?
I know a little bit, and I think this is actually a broader reaching topic in the sense that privacy in general is affected here.
Well, okay, so the federal prosecutors are looking into whether mobile applications makes advertisers and mobile app stores, app owners are violating the law when it comes to transmitting user personal data. The music service Pandora disclosed to the U.S. Securities Exchange Commission filing recently that it has been subpoenaed by a grand jury to provide information on how a mobile application collects data. Isn't
that really interesting?
Weird. Yeah.
I think this is interesting in the sense that somebody probably complained or got worried, and they just started to pick on Pandora for whatever reason. But this actually does affect a lot of people. This actually stems from an article written by the Wall Street Journal back in December, if I remember correctly, that they wrote there was like 100 or so some popular applications that were a little weird when it comes to their privacy, that they don't really disclose what it is that they're doing, with your smartphone, with your phone or whatever it is that you're using these applications.
Well, this is going to become more and more of an issue as we become a on-the-go. Excuse me, I'm very professional. I had to sneeze. Oh, my God. I've never done that on the air before.
You need a cough button.
I do. I wish I had it. And a cough like video button. I could have gone to something else. Oh, my God. I feel like my brain shook. We are becoming a mobile application society where we always have everything on the go. We have our applications in front of us. We are always connected. And when software like Google Longitude, applications like that, which are able to track where you are up to X amount of miles, it's a very
well, that's what
very
scared
accurate.
me is because we're mobile, a lot of smartphones now have GPS, so it has pretty exact coordinates for where you are when you're using it and what time.
But you know what people don't know is if you have an application and it's a little, I'm going to use a very Italian word, fugazi, from Jessica.
Well, what does that even mean?
It's a little not on the up and up. It's a little,
okay.
If the application, if you don't know much about the application and it uses GPS, it could pretty much tell where you are at all times based on your GPS coordinates.
Oh, yeah. And something with like Pandora or Foursquare, that's something that people want to use. They have fun in doing, so that they don't necessarily care about what's going on in the background and what information is being sent from your phone to the company and what the company is doing with that data. That's really what people are concerned about, not necessarily what information is being sent, but how the companies are using the information that they're gathering.
Yeah. This is sticky because how can you tell if the application is actually, getting the information?
I believe on an iPhone, there is a system in place that it has to warn you whenever it's sending certain information back to a server. It might not be as clear cut on something as an Android operating system. And BlackBerry is pretty secure. They usually tell you when something is going to open a network connection, it's going to send something to the server. It usually does. But you don't necessarily know because some of these applications, such as Pandora, are designed to do something specifically like that, where they're going to listen, they're going to take your feedback, or if you have an application, I believe like Shazam, where it actually listens to a song and tries to figure out what that song is.
Well, that's, you know what's interesting? ABC put out a Grey's Anatomy app for the iPad. And what it does, it listens to when it's on a commercial break or where you are in the show, and it gives you, I guess it decides, what it's going to pull up on the screen based on where you are during the show. So it's pretty much listening to the conversation.
Yeah, but see,
I mean, that's a little,
that's
that was
more like a fingerprint.
Yeah, but that's a little scary, right? Imagine if it's not that app. Let's say it's not ABC and it's another application, and every time you use it, it turns on your microphone, so it's able to hear conversations that you're having.
Yeah.
This is what we've feared for years. This is what we've been terrified of. Big Brother spying on us.
We've gotten to the point where, like you said, we are a mobile society. We're always on the go, and we have these devices capable of coming with us that do these really cool things. But at the same time, the way that they do these things mean that we're giving up somewhat of our privacy.
It's interesting because I had a discussion with somebody, and they're very, very left-wing. And we got into politics, and we got into the Patriot Act, and we got into government spying. And they were saying, the government could listen in on you at any time. The Patriot Act gives them the right to. And I said, well, look, you have, and he goes, I don't want anybody to know where I am. It's not their right to know where I am. and I said, well, you have an iPhone, right? And you have this and you have that. I'm like, that it has GPS. Your exact location is always transmitted to the world. And it blew his mind because he doesn't see it as that. He doesn't. I'm like, you download all these applications. You have this application. You have that app. He had a bunch of GPS applications. He had the Locate My Car app on his thing. I'm like, what do you think?
That goes back to what I was saying, how we're willing to give up a certain amount of our privacy for these conveniences that these applications provide.
As long as we get something in return, Suncast, that's what it comes down to. As long as we get something in return, we're willing to give it up. Oh, you want to give me a program? Fine, here's my information. That Locate Your Car app. And I said, how do you think it works? It's working off of GPS, so whatever the company is, it's able to locate your GPS. So how difficult would it be?
GPS coordinates.
Exactly. I said, how difficult would it be for that company to say, oh, here's Mike's car. It's always parked here on Tuesdays. If you want to get Mike, let's say Mike hasn't paid his bills. I'm a bill collector. I'll go to these companies. I'll see if you're signed up, and I'll see your car parked here. Every Tuesday, Mike is going to this location. Guess what? I can find you now.
Scary.
Pay your bill. That's where we're at. But we don't see it as that because it's a funny little program. It's a game. Ha ha ha. I'm having fun. I'm flinging birds across. It is really scary. There has to be disclosure when it comes to these applications and what they're doing with your exact information.
Yeah, I think this is a little bit. I think it's a little bit overblown, but at the same time, I think it is rightly justified. At the same time, I'm at a catch-22 on this.
Sure.
While I support it, on the other hand, I don't support it because how many of these applications that they're looking into is being fairly accused of doing something wrong. It's kind of like Google, where they're now being audited every few months or so because they've had privacy issues in the past.
Well, because Google's becoming too big. That's a scary thing. Google's this huge company that has no means of income when it comes to subscription based or anything. They make their money from advertising.
But I do think this goes to a broader general privacy issue that surrounds us currently, and as far as the internet goes,
Listen, I think you should be aware.
There's always something going on, and some sort of concern regarding privacy on the internet.
You should be aware of what you're downloading. That's what it comes down to. Stop clicking on everything. It's not it's not the company's fault that they're trying to get your information. You know what? This is what they're doing. Some people want your information, and it's your mistake by allowing them.
How are advertisers using the information that's being collected?
Doesn't Google do that right now with your emails? They pretty much have an algorithm that reads your emails and knows what you have. So if I wrote to you, I have a cold.
What's the line where that's okay and you go too far? What's okay? What's too far?
When it's telling me, Andrew, it's your anniversary, you forgot to buy a present, call ProFlowers. That's when it's a little too. It's getting there. It's getting there.
There's another company that's had a lot of privacy issues lately, and that's Facebook.
Yeah, I want to go into that.
It's not necessarily just mobile applications that have this implication of being concerned where they're using your data and violating your privacy.
I want to go into that, but before we do, I want to talk about our sponsor, Hover.com, the simplest way of buying a domain name. Suncast, how many domains do you have with Hover now?
10.
Yeah, and you transferred a bunch.
I transferred about 5.
Yeah, and your parents.
I gotta have more than 10 now.
No, maybe you definitely. Yeah, it's unbelievable how
I've lost track.
You've lost track, and I have
It's so easy. I lost track.
I have almost 100 at this point.
How many since you started using Hover in February?
About 50. No, a little less. About 40 something.
So you about doubled in the last 2 months.
I about doubled because they make it so easy. It's addictive.
Wow.
I'll tell you what I do. I sit here and I'll read something and I see a domain, I'll see a name, and I'll look. I'll go to Hover and I'll say, "Oh, let me pop it in," and it says, "Oh, it's available here. Just click here." They make it so easy, and I just click and I'm like, "Oh, I'm already checking out. They have my information filed already," and I just go boom and I'm done. Within 10 seconds, I could buy a domain if I know the domain name. But the thing about them is private registration is included, so you know how much you're going to spend at the end of that transaction. Some of those other guys, what they'll do is they'll say, okay, yeah, it's $10 for the domain, but also you're going to pay $12 for private registration. And then you're going to be, if you want business registration, it's $20. How about becoming a certified website? If you get the certification of the company seal, it's another $6.99. So by the time you check out, it's over $30.
Yeah.
And that's obscene when you're paying for a domain name.
One
domain. And some people just don't know. They don't know that there are different options. And there are easy options. And Hover is that option. If you go to gfq.hover.com, you could get 10% off your entire purchase. Also, they make transferring your domain a breeze. So if you're with those other guys, you're not happy with them anymore, you call up Hover. They do free concierge service. Well, they'll transfer it for you. Or you could just transfer it on the website. And it's a $10 flat fee for a 1-year service agreement with Hover, but they'll also honor whatever amount that you had on those other guys. So you're not losing anything. There's nothing to do. It's if I had 2 years with Suncast company and I want to go to Hover, they're going to take those 2 years. They're going to add another year on top of it. So they do an amazing job. Great guys. Go to gfq.hover.com. Domain names made simple. Hover. Back to you, Suncast.
back to me.
Yeah.
Do we want to continue on the privacy stuff or?
Yeah. Talk about. I want to talk about Facebook because you were on the topic of Facebook.
It's really interesting because they've had past regarding privacy concerns as well.
Well, you have an issue with Facebook, right?
I've had issues with Facebook.
You've had many
before.
issues with Facebook, but your latest issue is that stupid poll.
Oh my goodness, that thing is so annoying, isn't it?
Yeah, God, and it's stupid polls. It's nothing ever good.
I have a fix for that, by the way, that I'm going to talk about during the pick of the week.
I saw that, and you found it this afternoon while we were talking.
Yeah, because that's how annoyed I was with it. I was like, fine, this is it. I'm done with it.
Okay, so I want to talk to you about this. I want to skip the Facebook thing, but I do want to talk about this. The iPhone FaceTime issue.
Yeah, this is also along the lines of privacy and what's acceptable and not.
Okay.
Now, granted, what's going on here is
I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell you something before you go into the story.
Yes.
It's happened twice to me.
Really?
I've been on the computer, and this happened yesterday, actually, the latest.
What happened?
I was on the computer, and I was just doing whatever I'm doing, and I see my system resources are pretty high. I wonder why. So I started closing out applications. I only see Mozilla's open, and my chat was open, and maybe one or two applications. So I started popping the windows down. I started hitting X, and I see FaceTime is running.
Why is FaceTime running?
I don't know. It's not showing.
You didn't open it?
I didn't open it. It didn't show in the bar that it was running. It showed it was just running.
Now, does it normally show in the bar when it's running?
Yeah, like with Mac, so what it does, it'll add like a little bright light under the application. No bright light, nothing. It was running. And it happened twice. And I did not open this application. So when I saw the story, I said, that's really interesting. I wasn't going to bring it up. Actually, I was thinking about bringing it up, but it was just, maybe it was user error. But now there's something going on here.
Yeah, from the article that I read, that they're saying that this is a bug with FaceTime where it'll randomly open itself and take a picture of whatever's happening at that time. So if you're at work, it'll take a picture of you at work or whatever your phone is facing.
Why is it doing this?
And then it'll actually display that picture to your FaceTime contacts. So then all your Facebook contacts will see you doing whatever at work,
that's really
not even knowing
weird.
that it's taking a picture of you.
I wonder if it changed my FaceTime contact. I'm going to open it up right now. Yeah, because that's weird, huh?
Yeah, and this has a lot of privacy implication. And yeah, it might be a bug, but at the same time, this is a pretty scary bug where it can turn itself on and take a picture of you without you knowing, and then show that to all of your friends. What if you're in the bathroom or something, What if you're in some place that's not supposed to be where you're at,
Yeah, luckily I have no contacts here, but it was running. This is weird. It's random.
People were saying that when this was happening, they were at work where they've never used FaceTime before, so they know that it actually happened, and it wasn't something that they did purposely because it happened on its own where they've never used FaceTime before. So
Have
it had
they come
to
out?
have happened on its own.
Has Apple come out and said why something like this is happening?
They just basically said that they're looking into it.
I didn't say it, but Lap Fan in our chat room said, "What if you were on something like YouPorn?" And very good point, sir. Point taken. I was thinking the same thing, but I tried not to say it because I am I'm a gentleman on this show, unlike the other shows. It is a scary thing. Like, first of all, I mean, most of the time, people's phones are in their pockets or they're laying on the desk. They're not really pointing at people. But the FaceTime problem that I've been having on my computer, on my Mac, is really weird. I thought it was me. And I said, "Wow, this is weird. I don't remember opening FaceTime." And the place I have FaceTime in my bar, it's the first thing. Next to it is the Finder. Next to that is the Mac App Store. So it's not really something I really use. And then I have Dropbox, and then I have Mozilla. I don't know. What should people do?
Uninstall it.
Uninstall.
Can it be uninstalled? I don't even know.
Yeah, it can. It was 99 cents on the Mac. I had to pay for it. which was a whole different baffling scenario for me that I had to pay for the stupid thing.
I mean, if you're really that concerned about it, you can just uninstall it, I guess.
Sure.
I mean, that's really the safe way to know that it's not going to pop up on you at an inconvenient time.
I'll tell you, it's a pretty good piece of software, too.
I would assume that Apple will fix this issue. It's not a huge issue, but they will fix it. I have no doubt in that whatsoever.
Yeah. I want to talk about the BlackBerry story and a little preview to the next one. YouTube offering. You have the YouTube offering original content story, but you don't have the other story in here.
Yeah, that came up before I sent the notes.
So I guess we'll go into both. We have some time. BlackBerry Playbook was delayed because of iPad 2 causing
this is just a rumor, by the way.
This is a rumor, but it does make some sense.
Oh, it certainly does. But I'm actually a little bit surprised at this as well. What they're saying is that they're saying that the rumor is that BlackBerry Playbook was partially delayed because of two reasons. Software wasn't ready. They were still developing it. And that there was a shortage in displays because of the iPad 2. And that the iPad 2 had actually used up all of the screens that were necessary to produce the BlackBerry Playbook. Which I don't know if I believe it, but it is certainly plausible.
I sure hope... who's spreading this rumor? Because this might be... BlackBerry PR trying to put a spin on why they didn't release this product when it should have been released.
There's still a whole nother reason out there for it being this late in the game.
What are some reasons?
I don't know if I mentioned this before, but they actually lost about 6 months of development from what I've heard because they originally used Marvel chips in all of their phones. So that's what they started with the Playbook. They were going to use a Marvel CPU,
and then
but the Marvel CPU was not cutting it for RIM's expectations. So they dumped Marvel and went with Texas Instruments for their central processing unit. And that set them back about 6 months, according to what I've heard.
I've also heard that it was the fact that they were having battery issues.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's because of, I believe, the processor.
Oh, so it does make sense.
Which is why they switched to Texas Instruments.
This is going to be interesting. It's coming out April 19th. I know I find it really fascinating. I would like the device. I just bought an iPad, but I have considered this.
The jury is still out for me. I haven't made a decision one way or the other. I remain skeptical of BlackBerry products in general, just because I've been turned off to them so much lately.
But I mean, it's not really a BlackBerry software.
No, and that's why I'm still skeptical, and I haven't really made a decision one way or the other on it because it's actually built off of QNX, which is a new operating system that they've never worked with before, but has been existent and used by QNX for several high industry level applications, such as running trains. So it's a very good operating system that this is based on. So when it does come out, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try it out and see what it's like. Then I'll make my decision.
I think the biggest advantage they have for them is the fact that they're going to be able to run Flash applications, Java applications, and Android applications.
Yeah.
That's the only advantage it has.
There's a lot of people knocking that too. And they're saying that RIM isn't confident in their apps, so they're having to go and
RIM doesn't have apps. RIM doesn't have apps right now that are supported, right? How many applications are supported in their App Store, App World that are, tablet ready? None.
Well, none right now because the Playbook actually has its own version of the BlackBerry App World where it has Playbook support for it specifically.
How many applications is it launching
now? You don't have any of the Playbook apps in there. It's all developmental. There's no specific version of App World that they're using on smartphones.
How many applications will it launch with? Have they said?
Don't know. I know I have a friend that's submitted an application, and they've actually extended the application process right now for the initial boost of applications that it'll launch with.
I don't know.
But
I hope it does well.
I think it's a good thing because what they're saying is that BlackBerry will have these awesome applications that are optimized for the Playbook that you can build on native languages such as C++ and a couple other languages that they're going to provide software development kits for. But then you'll also have support for some of these other ones, such as Android, through these emulators that they'll have, these app players. They'll support Android, and a couple of other ones, I believe. Adobe Air is another one. And so that'll get these developers a little bit used to the BlackBerry platform and what you can do with a playbook. So I think that's a good way for them to actually kind of meet in the middle with these people that aren't necessarily used to developing for BlackBerry, but want to offer them something.
Yeah.
You kind of get the best of both worlds there, I think.
Well, you also you
And
reach
BlackBerry
out,
is
you reach out to the Android
community.
fans, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
You're reaching out to that, which they have a
I think
huge.
it's a win for BlackBerry, honestly.
I can't see how they could lose from this. I mean, they're giving support unless the emulator that it's running runs really crappy.
Yeah, the con that people are saying about this is that, oh, well, it's not going to be optimized for the playbook. People are going to have a hard time with the application because they're not built for the playbook and blah, blah, blah. But I think that kind of negates the fact that you're actually going to be able to do this to begin with. I think that's huge. I mean, what other platform can you say does BlackBerry and Adobe Air, Flash, and Android applications?
Can't Android do Adobe Air right now, or no? It can't yet. It
I
can
have
do.
no
It does
idea.
Flash, but it doesn't do. Well, there's no tablet right now. Tablet. I don't know. I don't think anybody else would offer this.
Yeah, I mean, there's no other tablet or smartphone platform out there that even comes close to the kind of application support that the playbook will have.
I don't know. I'm curious to see where this goes, but it's launching April 19th, and it does. I am still thinking about it.
You're still thinking about it?
I don't know why. When I
Well, I
shouldn't
think
be.
it'll be interesting if you were to try it and then compare it, do a review comparing it to the iPad 2.
Yeah, that's what I want to see. YouTube to offer original content. This is really cool. Google is planning on spending as much as $100 million to develop original content for YouTube as part of the site redesign around channels based on categories, according to reports published in the Wall Street Journal. YouTube is looking, and this is a quote from I don't know who, because it's not saying, an unidentified source. YouTube is looking to introduce 20 or so premium channels that would feature 5 to 10 hours of professionally produced original programming. Me. While other channels would be created from existing content on the site. YouTube is trying to become a TV network. That's what it seems like.
They're trying to up their game, I think. I think we're in a world where you have to offer this sort of content now.
Yeah.
Because with the likes of Netflix and all these other companies like Hulu as well, there's a demand for that. And I think for YouTube to still be at their top level game, they need to be offering content like that.
Well, the truth is, listen, we are in a day and age where everybody knows YouTube, everybody uses YouTube. People don't say, "Well, I don't use YouTube. I use Daily Motion." I don't think that happens anymore. What was the other one at the time when YouTube came out?
Break.com, I think.
Break.com, yeah. I don't think anybody does that. I think the source is YouTube. That's where everybody goes because there's so much of it.
Yeah, there's some other niche sites out there, but YouTube is the large general mass population one.
I think
it's
one
kind
was
of like
Juiced.
Juice?
Or Juice, something like that, years ago.
I don't know.
These companies, they'll have a little niche, but I can't see them surviving and competing with YouTube because it has Google's money behind it, so they're able to support it big time, and everybody wants to be on there. And that if you put something on YouTube, no matter how stupid it is, somebody is going to click on that link or find it because millions and millions of people are on this service.
Oh yeah,
Now
and that's the big draw with them doing this is that everybody knows YouTube and everybody goes to YouTube for stuff. You can't avoid YouTube.
Now, how do they introduce these channels? And they're calling them premium channels. Is there going to be a pay service for this? That's what I want to see. Or no? Are these premium channels going to be like YouTube certified channels?
Yeah, is this something that's going to be easy to find, or is it just going to be kind of merged in with all the other videos, and you're not really going to be able to tell?
Well,
I assume that they're going to have some sort of column that has featured premium, but
that's what they'll probably do. They'll give you front page exposure if you become a exclusive content. Now, I'm curious to see how much they're going to pay for these exclusive rights. Someone like me that does, how many hours a week do we do? We do about 10 hours a week. No, more than that. We do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We do about 15 hours a week. No, more than that. About 20 hours a week. We do about 20 hours a week of content. Recorded, getting ready or doing the show.
Right.
Am I a valuable asset to someone like Google, someone like YouTube, where they want these contents, or do they want specific things?
From what I was gathering in the article, they were talking about whether or not this actually applies to getting, people from Hollywood, and it sounds like they're wanting to do a little bit of both, where they do want to get people from Hollywood involved, directors, and some people that are more independent to be involved with projects to creating content in these channels.
Yeah, this is interesting. I would like to see this. I really hope web TV is the future. I hope it lasts, but you need someone big like this behind it. I know Hulu is doing original programming on Hulu. They have a
That'd
morning
be great
show.
if they wanted to give us $1 million.
Oh my God, I'm taking our money and I'm never talking to you. It's over. You know what? You're gonna think I'm crazy. For $1 million, I would not give all my content to them.
Really?
And only $1 million and no money after that.
Well, what they're saying is they want people to have, professional broadcast quality equipment that they're using for these things. So not necessarily exactly what we're doing. I mean, we're pretty good, but I don't think we're necessarily at the level that they're talking about.
Yeah, they're talking
about Hollywood
sure.
TV quality.
Sure. But another interesting note, today was the launch of YouTube Live.
Yeah, this was a surprise to a lot of people.
This is single-handedly, in my opinion, one of the largest stories to hit internet broadcasting.
Really?
Yeah.
What makes it so significant?
Because of the fact that YouTube, on the scale of what they do, this is probably going to be the end-all be-all if you want to broadcast live. This is where you have to be.
I don't know if I necessarily totally agree with that. I think they're definitely going to be a game changer and a player.
You know what? And this is sad because we're on all. We're on Stickam, we're on Ustream, we're on Justin TV,
live stream.
We're on live stream. This is going to be the nail in the coffin for one of these companies. I don't think Stickam.
Well, that's just
I don't think Stickam.
There's a ton of companies that are similar to Ustream, Justin TV, and Stickam. There's more than just what we rattled off.
Yeah, there's a ton, and a ton of them are going to go
so
under.
It's not like they're going to be completely gone. They're just
no, but I'm talking about the big guys. I'm talking about the big guys because it costs a lot of money to run these, and the revenue model is not that good. I cannot see Ustream and Stickam going. Stickam has a social aspect to it, so they'll survive just on that. Ustream will take a huge hit, in my opinion, because they rely on the celebrities to go to Ustream and broadcast on Ustream. Who do you think YouTube is going to attract?
Anybody that wants to broadcast live.
Yeah, but they're also going to attract the celebrities. They're going to get a lot of it. They're going to get a ton of the celebrities, and I think...
I mean, wouldn't this have been perfect for, like, Charlie Sheen?
Absolutely, yeah.
With the draw that YouTube has versus Ustream. I mean, not that Ustream is horrible or anything like that, but... I think he would have gotten even more exposure on YouTube.
I think one of these guys will be hurt. I don't think Ustream and Justin will be hurt, but I do feel that something like Livestream, where they do offer a good service, but a lot of it depends on a pay service. And it's been a little bit of a turnoff for me because there's an ad that comes up every 20 minutes or 15 minutes when you're watching.
Really?
Yeah.
So you're thinking that YouTube is just going to start out with
YouTube is going to dominate this market.
Live stream?
No, they're going to dominate this market. Within the next year or two, they are going to dominate this market, and this is going to be an outlet for more and more people to broadcast. I think what a lot of people are going to start doing is using YouTube as a live feature, a lot of these chatters. There's also Blog TV, which a lot of YouTube personalities use Blog TV.
See, and that's what I'm saying.
Blog TV is going to take a
lesser-known company, but it's still in business, and it still does get significant amount of viewership.
But I believe they'll take a big hit also. because a lot of
yeah.
YouTube personalities use Block TV. So why would they use another service if the one service that they rely on is doing what they want to do?
Right.
They won't use it. We're definitely going to add a live stream. We contacted the partnership because we are a YouTube partner. It just hasn't been rolled out to us.
Yeah, they're rolling this out incrementally and gradually to people. It's not, they're going to start with partners first. And I believe after they roll it out throughout this year, they're saying it's going to start now and throughout the year, roll out to YouTube partners. And then maybe after that, they'll launch it to everybody else.
I think YouTube should keep it closed for a little bit. Because they
might see how it does with the partners throughout the year. But that's kind of why they gradually roll these things out, to see how it affects their network.
Yeah, I'm curious to see when I'm going to get it. That's what I want. I want to start getting this thing. No, this is great though. This is great news. I'm excited because we've been talking about this for a while.
I think it's really interesting in the sense that, first of all, YouTube has that name brand recognition. It's a giant company. Everybody knows that that's what they do. They do video. And so for them to tack this on there, well, now they also do that too. Because a lot of people do a lot of broadcasting type of stuff where they want to record a podcast and then they can do it and put it on YouTube. Or they could do it live and then also have it on demand after they record it automatically for them on YouTube, which they already post their YouTube. They already post their videos to YouTube anyway. So this kind of just rolls it all into one, where before you might have to do like us, Stickcam, live stream, Ustream, etc., and then record it and then put it on YouTube.
Yeah,
so now this might change the fact where, well, maybe I'll just use YouTube because it's easier to do everything on YouTube versus, all right, well, I'll record it, air it on Stickcam Live, and then upload it to YouTube, where you just go live on YouTube. It'll be live, plus it'll be available on demand right after you are done recording.
Yeah, I'm looking at a page now. There's some people doing it now. I'm looking live test, and this guy's doing a podcast for iOS. So some people have it that aren't the huge names. This person is playing a video game. So I guess depending on the channel, I guess it's the luck of the draw right now.
Yeah, there's absolutely no inclination as to who and when users are getting this, when partners are getting it. They're just saying that it'll be rolled out gradually. You can't make any request to be added as a live stream user. So you just have to sit around and wait for it to roll out to you if you're a partner.
Yeah, and they said what? Just keep doing your videos and do it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens with that. Fascinating stuff. Really fascinating.
Yeah,
stuff.
I'm interested in trying it to see actually how it goes. They're saying that there are still a few bugs and a few features that they're working on and rolling out as they do this. It's still kind of in a development, in a beta, where they're letting all their partners kind of beta test it. And then as people test it, they'll be able to work these bugs and features out.
Yeah. Well, let's see what happens. You know what time it is, Suncast? It is time for picks.
Of the week?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. Exciting.
Already?
It's time. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
Why don't you go first?
Okay, so I have to get my setup ready, actually, for this.
Oh, you have to get it ready?
Yeah, I'll get it up.
You're going to get it up?
And I knew you would do that. So
I couldn't help myself.
Here it is. That's not bad. Not bad, the focus. Look at that. So my pick today is for the iPad, actually. I'm going back and forth between all of them. And it is Bing for the iPad. It's actually a great application. I was so surprised by how good this is. I'm not a Bing user on the desktop, but it does such an amazing job for the iOS. It is extremely easy to use. You're looking, like right now I'm at weather. So they have the home here. You have trends, and then you have settings. So let's do a search for GFQ network. So it does it on the fly, and then search. So you could, and I did GFK. There we go. So all the search results come up. Our website, our Ustream page, our Justin TV page, our Hover contest page. So a lot of these pages come up. But another great thing is if you're looking for images, you're looking for movie results, news, trends, the finance maps. Because Bing has maps, and it's showing my address right now. So I shouldn't do that. Suncast, edit that out later. But it's a great application. It's extremely quick. So there's no lag at all. It's really, the graphics. So this is cool for trends, right? So it'll show you the trends for April 8th. You could go back April 7th. What was happening? What were the top stories? It's almost like a little newspaper inside of the application, and it's Bing for the iPad.
It seems like it's pretty seamlessly integrated into the iPad.
Yeah, it does a great job. Like 17 days of dieting. So let's click on that. So then the stories come up about that. So that pretty much that main page aggregates, what the top trends are. So finance.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it does a really, really good job. And then they have these little boxes. I don't know what the hell that was. Okay, now it went away. Now it's back. Let's see what. Oh, okay. So if you put your finger on it, it says this lush tropical place. I guess it tells you like little stories and stuff. I don't know. I'm done playing. All right, that was my pick of the week. Suncast, how about you?
Well, as I mentioned earlier in the show, that I've had issues with the new Facebook questions feature that they rolled out that lets people ask polls to all their friends and whatnot, and have these questions that people can answer. And you'll have questions like, "What are the top 3 websites you visit every day?" Or "What color is your lightsaber?" Or "Which of these 100 movies have you seen?" I'm like, really? Do we need to all answer these questions? I have absolutely no interest whatsoever in my friends answering these questions. I don't care what 100 movies they've seen. I mean, why would anybody take the time to even do this? I don't get that. And my problem is that there isn't a way to actually disable or turn off Facebook questions. Facebook says it's a feature, just like events and photos, that you don't turn off. It's not supposed to be turned off. So they don't offer any way to turn it off.
I've gotten a lot of, are you a Republican or Democrat?
Yeah, and it's just stuff that everybody's asking, and it kind of clutters up your news feed, your messages, and it's just like, do you need to see all those things?
Yeah.
So I searched out, and I actually did find a solution that gets rid of all this stuff, which is really nice. It's called FB Purity, or Fluff Busting Purity. It's really cool. It removes your Facebook questions, it hides them, and it does a whole bunch of other things, which I think is really cool. You can hide a whole bunch of stuff. You can hide who you became friends with, who liked pages, who joined a group, who's attending an event, who attended the event, created an event, changed locations, updated the profile, etc., etc., etc. You can filter all these things in your news feed, take them out, hide them, and it does that. Plus, you can also hide your events box, your request box, poke box, all that stuff on the right side in the sidebar. Mm-hmm. That's kind of useless to me anyway. You can hide that stuff, which is really interesting. You can change the font size if you want. You can have an application whitelist. So if there's an application that's being hidden, you can actually enter that ID of that application, and it'll still show that application if it's really that important to you. You can also have a custom text filter. So if like a bunch of your friends, for whatever reason, love Justin Bieber, and that's all they ever talk about is Justin Bieber, and you could care less to see those status updates where they're talking about Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
Well, you can create a custom text filter that'll filter all those messages out. Anytime they say really Bieber or Justin Bieber, you won't see those.
That's great.
It's really interesting. It also comes with a export and import settings, so you can save your settings, import them if you're on another computer. You have the same thing installed. You can also, what I think is really interesting is that when it hides these, it actually has a message on your Facebook that says 4 app hidden or 4 extra hidden, and you can show them. So it's not necessarily totally gone and hard to find where you have to disable this whole thing to actually see the message. You can simply click a link and it'll actually show you what's being hidden. It's really cool. It's an add-on for, let's see, I think it's cross-platform and cross-browser compatible. Firefox, Google Chrome, Safari, Opera. It works as an extension, or you can also get it as a user script for Grease Monkey, and it's totally free, but they do ask for a donation if you can afford one. So all you do is you just go to fbpurity.com. You can install it and you can get all the information, all the features that it does. It's really cool. It removes those annoying, stupid Facebook questions, plus a whole lot more. Just go to fbpurity.com to install it.
Excellent. Thank you, Suncast. I appreciate that.
Not a problem.
That was a great pick. You can go to our website, guysfromqueens.com, to catch all our shows in audio and video podcast form. Please remember to subscribe to all our shows. It's a huge helper. You can subscribe at guysfromqueens.com. We have a little subscribe tab on the side. You could also watch live at gfqlive.tv. We offer a number of live streaming pages that we're on. We're on Stickam, Ustream, Justin TV, live stream, and we also have an audio feed. Also, we're on Stitcher, the Stitcher radio app on the iPhone, Android, and BlackBerry OS, and WebOS too. So we're actually one of the most popular listen to radio stations on Stitcher because they have a live radio feed, which is unbelievable. I'm so happy we're on that service. From me to you, and from Tom in his bunkers somewhere in the mountains of Virginia, we wish you a good weekend. Good night, everybody.